Getting out of the carriage, he looked at the village. Though it was nearing night, there were still plenty of people walking around. This place was completely different from where he met Ellis. There seemed to be a nice mix of social classes, with the occasional person dressed up in a hodgepodge of armor who were probably adventurers. The adventurers seemed to group themselves together based on their party. He even saw a party of adventurers that were purely composed of women, wearing very revealing clothing like you would expect them to wear to make moving around easier. Brittany, I would like you to have one of the tailors prepare me clothing for the morning. I want something that is close to this time period, but at the same time reflects my status. Have him also create clothing for yourself, Helania, and Queen. With the three of you, you know my taste well enough, so keep that in mind when you inform him. He turned towards Brittany and casually ordered her. Even though he could create the outfit for himself in an instant, he was never particularly good with fashion. He remembered that Beth would make fun of his coordination skills with how his clothing would always clash. There was one time when after graduating, he had gone to find a suit for a job interview that was coming up. With the money he had, he needed to ask Sam to spot him for the rest. Beth joked at how Sam would make some girl in the future happy considering how he was successful. Han dispelled the thought and focused on where he was at. The inn looked fairly large and respectable. Just looking at the front of the inn, it looked clean and professional, and when he entered into the establishment, Han was impressed by its interior. Han wouldn't call this place luxurious, but he could tell that people who came here had a fair amount of wealth. Though Tom tried to downplay his business, by the look of the inn, he must be doing well. Once you were in the inn, there was a counter with an older lady waiting. Walking up to the counter, Han greeted the woman. I will need a room big enough for 6 people. Also, I will need another room for 1 person. The family is also with me, so I will be paying for their room. The lady at the counter was surprised by his request. Seeing that Han was not an ordinary patron, she said, My lord, for the larger group we have a royal suite, and for the single occupant we have a room close to it. If you would like, we can also place the family on the same floor as you. The total amount will come to 3 gold pieces. To include the option of meals, it will come to 50 silver in addition to the 3 gold. I will only be requiring the room, thank you, he told the woman. Acting like he was pulling the money out of his pocket, he made a gold bar appear. Placing on top of the counter, he made the woman's eyes nearly pop out after seeing so much gold. My lord, I will bring the change for this amount. If you would like, I can have someone bring the change to your room. We will need to weigh it to determine how much change to give you, she stammered. Smiling at her, Han said, that would be perfectly acceptable. Having the change would allow him to see the currency in his kingdom, so he wouldn't have to keep materializing bars of gold. He materialized a bar half the size of the previous one and told the woman, Here is your tip. The woman's mouth hung open before she realized it and closed the mouth. She then quickly motioned for one of the attendants to hurry up and guide them to their rooms. A teenage girl appeared and gave them a broad smile and motioned for them to follow her. As they were walking up the stairs, the girl was explaining all the amenities in the hotel. We have a communal bath for the first 2 floors. On the 3rd floor, where you are staying on, the bathing area is restricted to those staying on the 3rd floor. We are proud to have the same water system as the capital has, so water is dispensed at the tub, and is split between hot and cold. The girl sounded very proud of this achievement, which was impressive for such a world. Each room on the 3rd floor has a copper tube that connects to the kitchen, so if you need to have any food brought up, you can order through that mechanism. If you haven't included the meals, you'll be charged by dish to be paid upon checking out. We have a lot of the same modern technology as seen in the capital, my lord, so I'm sure you'll be just as comfortable here. The girl tried to explain, assuming that Han and his party had arrived from the capital. When they arrived at their rooms, the girl first showed Tom's family their room, then the room for Ellis, and finally the room for them. As she wished them a happy stay, Han called out, "Girl, what's your name?" Looking confused, the girl said, "My name is Susie, my lord." Reaching into his pocket, he pulled out gold and held it out to Susie. She placed a hand under his and saw what he had given her. He said, "You were very professional with your explanation and your service. This is a tip for you." Susie gave him a large smile and bowed, saying, "Thank you, my lord." When she saw him dismissing her, she tried to calmly walk back, but had difficulty due to her excitement. Turning back to his creations, he said, "How about we check out the bathing facility?" Seeing them smile, he walked out the door and followed the sign saying bath. On this floor, there seemed to be crystals instead of the usual candles. The light was a lot brighter and cleaner, compared to the wax candles on the first floor. Getting closer, he was curious about what these were, considering his lack of knowledge of what this place considered magic. Han simply said, "Analyze," and a screen appeared next to the crystal. Mana crystal. A crystal with the characteristics of producing light when mana is poured into it. The duration is determined by the amount and quality of the mana. This technique was developed by the mage Gelando Flame and used throughout the Helios Kingdom, Lunar Empire, Beast Alliance, Dwarven Territories, and the Elven Kingdom. These crystals can be found near high concentrations of mana. "Fascinating," Han said out loud. Even though the kingdom looked primitive, they had a basic technological understanding. This can be seen with internal plumbing, communication, and mana crystals. He was extra curious about what the capital looked like, especially if this inn was an excellent example of what could be in the capital. "These humans are very creative," Helania said out loud. Snorting, Queen said, "Master could make something infinitely better. These people are merely playing around and not understanding what real power is." "Now, Queen, just because they don't have our abilities, it doesn't mean that these things aren't interesting. The fact they have to struggle is what makes them able to create such interesting tools," he said to her. Seeing her slightly pout, he went over to her and kissed her on the forehead. "Yes, Master," Queen said, looking happy by the attention. It didn't seem like she understood what he was trying to explain to her, but this level of dedication was something he cherished. Seeing Helania and Brittany looking a little depressed, he also went to them and gave each one a kiss on the forehead. Everyone seemed to be in a better mood as they walked towards the bathing area. The bathing facilities had 3 entrances: men, women, and open. Considering that the girls would enjoy bathing with him, he decided to head into the open door. There was an area for them to remove their clothing and place them in little baskets where they would be stored inside cubbies. Han entered the bathing area and saw that it was relatively large. There was an area for them to wash and then get into a larger bathtub. The tub looked to be filled with hot water from all the steam that was rising from it. He sat on one of the many stools and began to wash. It felt nice being able to relax and enjoy a good bath. Near the waterspouts, the inn had placed bottles that looked to be filled with soap. Grabbing one of the washcloths, he began to lather himself up with the soap. It may not have been the same level as what they had on Earth, but it still felt good and smelled nice. "Master, please allow me to assist you," Helania spoke out, sounding horrified that Han was washing himself. Helania sat down at one of the stools in front of him. Squirting some of the soap into her hands, she took one of Han's arms and began gently washing his body. Han enjoyed the feeling of her hands rubbing and massaging his arm. It was an experience he never had a chance to enjoy, with having a beautiful woman take care of him in such a manner. He had heard classmates and coworkers talking about going to massage parlors or soaplands, but he was too shy and felt like it had been a betrayal towards Beth. "Please, allow me to assist you." Queen positioned herself on the other side of Han. Soon, she was cleaning and massaging his other arm. Brittany was the last one to walk in, and she, wordlessly, started to wash his back with one of the washcloths. Noticing the tinge of red on Queen's and Helania's faces, Han wondered if they were having other thoughts as they took care of him. The steam from the baths created a nice mist, which made the two women look alluring, causing Han to notice his body reacting to the stimuli. "Do you find this enjoyable?" Queen asked him. She had tilted her head forward, but Han could see her eyes looking at him through her lashes. As she slowly lifted up her head, he could see a smile on her face. Her breathing seemed to have increased, likely due to her own enjoyment. Looking to Helania, Han saw that she had a similar appearance. Feeling a soft sensation on his back from Brittany pressing up against him, Han was no longer able to contain himself. Gently taking hold of one of Helania's arms, Han pulled her towards him. Kissing her, he could feel her desire for him, which only helped to fuel his own feelings towards the three women.